So we are on the cusp of the start of the next NFL season, and everybody is wanting to know one thing: fantasy football. See, I thought I was going to ask you something else.
I had no idea we were going to come out of that beautiful mountain.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So are you going to play fantasy football? If you are, or if you aren't, who would you draft for your team, for a fantasy football team?
Honestly, I'm not a fantasy guy. I really don't understand all the nuances of it. It's really complex, like our healthcare system. It's tough to figure out. But if I were to pick a player, I'll start with the running game because they're able to catch, run, score touchdowns, get receptions, you get points that way. So I would start with Le'Veon Bell. I would look at Akeem Hunt from the Kansas City Chiefs, and I also like this kid Saquon Barkley out of the Giants.
He was on my team last year.
Yeah, so well, he's a rookie coming in, the Giants.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Le'Veon was on my team last year.
But I would start with a running back, like all great teams should.
So who is that running back this year? Who's that guy?
Well, I think if you go off of last year's statistics, it will be Le'Veon Bell. But I think the surprise pick will definitely be Saquon Barkley because of all the elements he has around him. He has a great tight end that can stretch the field, and a superstar wideout in Odell Beckham Jr. You've got an adequate quarterback in Eli Manning, and he's coming in with fresh legs and something to prove. So I think it's going to be him.
As someone who spent a tremendous time in the league, nowadays with the increase of social media, we see a lot of videos of things that happen during camp. Guys maybe getting a little tough, a little edgy because they're training hard. Does the public make too much of what happens during training when guys are getting a little...
Let me tell you something. It's football. That football is a violent sport, and you're going to have testosterone on the field. You're going to be challenges. That's the nature of the game. And if I don't expect the regular person to understand that unless they have been in between the white lines and they've gone through the rigors of camp, of training for a season, and even going through an NFL season. So it's a different culture that most people can't explain. You know, I can't explain the jobs that they do, and so certainly can't expect them to know what it's like to go through what I go through.
And lastly, we look at all the advances that are in sports now with the cryogenic chambers, no more ice baths, and all these fancy things. If you could take one common era advance back to the height of your career that would help you perform, what was something you would take back that you see that a lot of the younger athletes are doing now to prepare themselves?
I would say like CBD oils and treatments. That would be one, and stem cell. I think that could be a huge difference maker in the longevity and the beating that an NFL player goes through during the course of the season.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure speaking with you.